Folks, it's my 5 top tips for building a home automation setup. Let's get into it. Okay folks, welcome back to the Tower Tech. If you're new here, please do consider subscribing. There's a myriad of great technology related content, including water-cooled PC builds, home automation, and a whole heap more. Remember to click the bell icon so that you don't miss all of the notifications of the great videos to come. So, my 5 top tips for planning and setting up a home automation system. Rolling in at number 5. Think about your goals. There is a plethora of great technology available to help you automate your home. You really need to think carefully about what it is that you want to get out of the system. You can do things like control your heating, control your lighting. There's a whole heap of stuff around security, including security cameras, automated door locks. You can do video calling, automate your shopping, and you need to think really carefully about whether it's 1, 2, or all of these things that you want to do. That's going to help you think about the order in which you want to buy things and the ecosystems in which you want to operate, which waylays me quite nicely into tip number 4. You need to plan ahead. It's very likely that you're going to buy each of these things one by one. The devices themselves are quite expensive, so it's unlikely that you're going to go and buy yourself a couple of £1,000 in some instances of home automation gear all in one go. So you need to think really carefully about the ecosystems that you want to operate in. So if you've done tip number 5, you know your use cases, you know your goals, you know what it is that you want to do. You need to go away then and do some research to understand which ecosystems are most compatible with those type of devices. And what I mean by ecosystems is you're going to want some kind of centralized control, voice activation of these devices, and depending which brand of these that you go for depends on how compatible they are. Typical devices include things like Amazon's Echo series. You've now got Google Home, Apple have got their HomeKit offering, and if you go onto their websites and you look through, they've got pretty good documentation about the compatibility, sort of the native integrations that allow you to link their systems to your security cameras or your heating system, and depending on what it is that you've bought. So really planning ahead to help really minimize the number of different ecosystems that you need to operate within. It will help reduce the number of apps that you have on your devices, and the whole experience is going to be far more seamless and integrated. It's going to feel much more natural and intuitive to control if you've done that planning up front. There's nothing more frustrating than having to jump between 5, 6, 7, 8 different apps in order to control your home. You really want this central control coming out of something like Amazon's Echo or Google Home, just to help simplify that whole process. Rowing in at number 3, workflow tools. So what do I mean by workflow? Once you've bought lots of devices and you've got inputs and outputs in those systems, you're going to want to set up some kind of workflow. An example of this could be a motion sensor that you have in a room. When that detects motion after a particular time in the evening, it will switch the light in that room on. You can create kind of makeshift security systems. You can automate your lighting when you're walking around at night. I've got one friend who's got particular routines that if he comes down in the morning, there's a whole myriad of things that get switched on, including lighting in a particular order and coffee machines and it just enables greater functionality between the different devices, in many instances even when they are from different manufacturers. I've got Samsung SmartThings sensors that are automating Philips Hue. I'm actually using Samsung SmartThings to do that. That's a good workflow management tool. You have to pay for this, but there are some really good free alternatives available. There's a great app available that's called If This Then That. It's really simple and intuitive to plumb the instructions in, and just helps you kind of hang the whole system together in one cohesive workflow. And tip number 2, buy from reputable brands. As the old saying goes, you really do get what you pay for. There are loads of alternatives on places like Amazon and IKEA. I don't genuinely recommend those devices. You're going to get frustrated with them. They're far harder typically to set up. That may not be true in all cases, but typically the devices are much harder to set up. You're not going to get them to link into your Amazon Echo device or your Google Home device, so you've got that centralized control. You're probably also going to struggle to get workflow working as well. So do buy good reputable brands, things like Philips, Samsung, Amazon, etc., and you're going to have a really good experience. In particular, some of the cheaper security cameras that you can get, the quality really is very poor. They lose connectivity quite a bit, and typically I recommend Ring or Nest if you're looking at those kind of devices. Rowing in at number 1, if you followed the last bit of advice, you can suddenly see quite clearly that the cost of this can rack up pretty astronomically, so do look for sales. There are more than enough opportunities throughout the year to get some great bargains, including Black Friday, Prime Day, January sales, flash deals, you name it, there are opportunities to get them. I also do recommend picking up devices when they're end of line, end of sale, i.e. the new version of that device is about to come out. You can get yourself a truly cracking deal, and quite often there's not a huge difference between the newer version of something and the slightly older version, but of course do your research and check that. You may be shortchanging yourself, but do look out for sales. So there we go, guys, my 5 top tips in building a home automation system. I hope you're really well wherever in the world you are. Please like and share this video, and I will see you in my next one.